So now the Actor of the Year, and a bonanza year really of achievement from the leading actors, knockout performances, sell-out successes. The nominations are as follows.
Albert Finney for Orphans. Michael Gambon for A View from the Bridge. Brian Cox for Titus Andronicus. And Nicholas Craig for The Duke of Edinburgh.
Now to present the award, we welcome the international star, Miss Susanna York.
Thank you very much. Coming out top of the Best Actor class is...
Now this, for me, is the most horrendously difficult part of the entire acting process. One has no script, no proper rehearsal period, very little makeup, and of course profoundly mixed feelings about the validity of awards per se. For it to be engraved on a bit of bronze that one is a better actor than, say, Brian Cox would be ridiculous, deeply embarrassing for Brian and myself, and absurd because I've seen Brian be bloody good in some things. He's a smashing actor, and I love him to death. Nevertheless, the award is very much part of the actor's life, and we must learn how to handle it. In fact, whether you're a winner, a nominee, or if you're just presenting an award, there are more performance skills required here than for any other kind of acting. And it's award ceremony technique that we're going to be looking at in this program, so let's warm up with some walk-ons. I usually try and do about 40 step-downs and rush-ups a day if I've got a big BAFTA coming up. It's important to get properly toned up before we come into the ceremony space, because we might be at the table for 5 or 6 hours before we're needed. Stiffness is a very real danger. So, Frank, if you'll just give us a lead-in, we'll try some table looseners.
Well, I can see the tension is mounting already, because in fact nobody in the theatre knows who's going to be winning the awards tonight. Angela doesn't, I doesn't.
We could spend 2 or 3 days just working on table looseners, but we must on now. So can I suggest you practice at home in your own time, or better still, form a group and go to a Chinese restaurant? Okay, let's look now at some presentation techniques. As we've seen, a hat or a staircase can perk up your entrance no end. But the key to effective award presentation is, of course, the speechlet. Let's see now how one of our foremost presentation specialists, Tom Conti, settles to his task.
Thank you. It's quite dangerous getting one of these things, actually. Michael Crawford's back there in a state of near nervous collapse.
Well, you can't improve on this. He's got a nice, easy stride, he mentions a mate, he handles the award, and most important of all, he's got a handkerchief in his pocket. Of course, this is very much the hallmark of pedigree presentation work.
Thank you very much.
Providing both a dash of colour and a precaution against the snuffles later on, the hanky is an invaluable ceremony accessory. Joan Littlewood here, demonstrating a characteristic piece of handkerchief improv. Yes. Here we see how even the most modest of hankies can give a fledgling presenter increasing confidence.
All we really require is somebody who can create that special kind of magic in the theatre called high-definition performance, high-definition performance, high-definition performance, high-definition performance.
But let's get back to Tom.
This one, actually, I'm delighted to tell you, is for the Theatre of Comedy performance of When We Are Married.
Superb handling skills. But the really clever thing here is that Tom is working without an envelope. Well, I admit it's very exciting to watch, but I'm afraid I'm a bit old-fashioned about the envelope. And I've always felt that properly applied, the Manila method can be the most effective of all ceremony techniques.
Now, I'm not going to sort of prig about. I'm just going to open the envelope.
I'm very happy
Come out.
So let's get straight down to it.
Hard on the legs to open.
Yeah, I told you.
Must stop biting my nails.
You should have worn gloves.
Suspense is going to kill everybody.
If you can work the specs in, of course, it immediately creates tension and danger.
First time glasses in public.
If you've got your rhythm right, you'll find that you can relax on the pull-out, and the little card will do most of the work for you.
If it was the one I saw, she richly deserves to win.
Oh.
Oh.
But the winner is Judy Dent.
Maggie Smith.
Judy Dent.
Maggie Smith. Judy Dent.
Presenting an award, then, is an infinitely skillful business. It's physically demanding. It needs a sense of color coordination. It's unpredictable. What else?
It's a great honor.
Thank you, Peter. Shall we all try that?
I feel very honored.
It's a great honor.
It's a great honor.
It's a great honor.
It is a particular honor.
I'm really honored.
It's a deliciously auspicious event, obviously, and it's so important at all times in ceremony to give a sense of the sheer smashingness of being here. But I fear we're all of us still some way behind the Americans in this department.
Your Royal Highness, lords, ladies, and gentlemen.
Being here has been a wonderful treat, and that's why I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm so honored to be here. Very, very, very lucky.
To participate in this wonderful evening with my colleagues and seeing so many distinguished and wonderful, talented people.
Primarily because you're in such distinguished company.
Who have given so much pleasure to so many people.
Millions and millions of people.
Millions and millions of people all over the world.
Somehow, our American friends managed to convey the global importance of the occasion in a way we Brits can seldom match.
Film is for the examination of the glory or the pain of the human race.
This may be the most interesting evening that I have sat through in 3,000 years.
Chance in acting, directing, and writing is the glory and the challenge that leads sometimes to poetry.
When the spoken word can no longer contain the emotion, it bursts into song.
Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner.
Right. Let's grasp that emotion, hang on to it, and carry it with us into the announcement. Can I have you all back in your boxes, please? Thank you. And Julie, my love, if you could do a top left for me. Bless you. Oh, and Brian, lose the beard, I think. Smashing. Right, we're going to try some reaction exercises now. So I'll give you an envelope as a standby and a second verbal for your response. Obviously, what we're looking for in the announce is a great big whoosh of scrumptious surprise and a nice ballsy rush-up. So, announcement pauses, please, and envelope, and... Julie, if you're not prepared to concentrate, I'll get someone else. Can I have someone else, please? We're very pressed for time. Thank you, Jonathan. Right, settle, and... Actually, while we've stopped, concentration is so important here. If you get it right, you may never have to do another Odor Eater's voiceover ever again. So, ready with your whooshes, and bearing in mind that the real winner tonight is the profession as a whole, so envelope and cue. Yes, well, that was all rather Monday morning-ish, wasn't it? Anyone else feeling a bit more lively? Thank you. So, ears pricked, all of you, and envelope and cue. That's much more lively. And once more. It's important now that we sustain our whoosh as we leave the box and go into the rush-up. Remember, there are about 30 other awards to get through, plus the cabaret and the special fellowship. So it's pace, pace, pace here. Usually, you'll pick up your award from a mate, so you can have a hug and a natter and it's lovely. But sometimes you may have to receive it from one of the sponsors. It's a potentially awkward situation, but there are two ways of handling it. You can either ignore him completely and make straight for a friendly face, or you can get a safe grip on the award, cut the hug, and keep the chat down to a minimum. Now we're ready to tackle what is perhaps the most exacting aspect of ceremony technique, the acceptance speech. You've got a lot to get through, so I always think it's a good practice to take a beat before you start.
Oh.
And just get the feel of the award.
It's heavy. It's really heavy.
Lovely, isn't it?
Now, into the speech.
Lord Dalfont, Chief Barker, Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled with this award.
Very good, but we have only got 45 seconds, so we must chop. Harriet.
Thank you very much. I've had my cake and eaten it for 18 months.
The performer here has cleverly slipped the cake in right at the top of the speech, much earlier than usual.
That's the icing on the cake.
This is icing on the cake. This is the icing on the cake, the cherry on the top.
What's very good so far is that we're managing to avoid those great long lists of thank yous that used to extend these occasions into the early hours. However deserving of a mensch they might be, these days there simply isn't time to acknowledge everyone.
Thank you. Some lovely fellows.
Jason Mick in the editing room. My manager.
My manager, D. O'Reilly.
Charles and Art and Albert and Michael and everyone else.
I'd like to thank.
The critics, yes, of course. The public, yes, but most importantly today, Jacques Tati.
I'd like to thank also the wonderful people of Jersey.
The pubs, the tin huts.
The casting department.
But most of all, to Ian Foster.
I would like to thank British Equity.
I thank our Theatre Union of the USSR.
Thank you to them, to you, to everyone.
Liz has thanked, really, the people that I would have thanked.
I think Dame Peggy said it, really.
Well, Joanna said it.
If you do find that someone else has beaten you to it, there's no need to panic, because you can just go straight into the story about the American lady.
He was cornered at one of these great receptions by a very earnest American lady who said to him,
My husband and I saw you in a show on Broadway about 3 months ago, and you were fantastic.
And she started to laugh hysterically, and
as she swept untidily from the room, she said,
When I saw you with those gorillas, I knew you'd do a great job with Gandhi.
Thank you, Ben. Nice story.
So, we've mentioned the cake and the Chief Barker, we've done the American lady, we've thanked the agent and the wonderful people of Jersey. Anything we've missed?
Wonderful production team.
Thank you, Julia. Everyone?
A wonderful technical team.
Wonderful team.
Wonderful technicians.
Wonderful crew.
Who do a wonderful job.
And even if the floor manager's arm is going like a demented windmill, we simply have to make time to mention the greatest backroom boy of all,
William Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare.
Thanks, Willie. Great.
By now, it's probably true that you will have overrun a tiny bit. So the best thing to do is to round off your speech quickly with a nice big general thank you to your peers.
Thank you very, very,
Very, very,
very, very, very, very,
very, very.
Very much.
What a marvelous acceptance speech that was.
Accepting an award is a complex and delicate business. The strange thing is that no matter how many times you make your journey out of your box and onto the stage, you never feel you've totally mastered the art, because no two award ceremonies are alike.
Now, these awards are, of course, virtually unique.
A unique event, this.
And you know, there are two aspects of these awards which really are unique.
The judging panels are unique.
Uniquely constructed of people who are
Really uniquely important.
The second unique thing is that
These awards, now in their 12th year, are unique.
and really that makes them not only unique, but also very special indeed.
And it's only by assiduous practice of the basic skills, rush-ups, envelope work, thank yous, and box sitting, that the actor is able to cope with the one-off nature of the event and stay ceremony sharp on the night. Here we see a fine actor getting in a disastrous mess through failure to apply the basic principles.
Thank you very much.
No whoosh, no hanky, no hug, not a word for the people of Jersey, and not so much as a crumb of cake. Oh dear. Well, as you can see, we've still got a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, you have to leave us now because we've overrun slightly, but we're going to be working on right into the night. Before we part company, though, I would just like to thank all of the people who helped me make this program, especially the crew, and I must just mention my agent Miriam, and the rainforests, and the state of the British film industry, and that horrid mini roundabout they put at the top of Richmond Hill, and the great love that I've been happy and lucky enough to receive from my colleagues. God bless you. Oh, and Bob Geldof.